Hello, fellow Sirens, I guess. My name is VideoJames, and today we're going to be looking at how to use Primarina. So if you missed my last how to use video, I'll leave a link down in the description. But I actually talked about how the Alola, I almost said Kalos for some reason, but the Alola starters actually got a mystery gift where they were released through Pokebank with their hidden abilities. So now I'm betting there's probably about 1,500 different Primarinas, Decidueyes, and Incineroars out there with their hidden abilities. So it's probably more than likely that you've at least seen one on Battle Spot or in the actual game. But today we're going to be looking at how to use Primarina. So last time I did Decidueye, which was my favorite of the Alolan starters. So now we're going to be looking at Primarina. Now I have to admit, I did go on record to say that Primarina was the one starter that I really didn't like. But since then, it's kind of grown on me, and I actually grew to kind of like it. I do still feel it's got a bit of uselessness when it comes to competitive sometimes, that a single gunk shot from something can kind of take this thing down, or a single gyro ball from a Ferrothorn kind of just knock this thing out, but it still does have a lot of competitive use. So when we look at Primarina, we see Water Fairy type, kind of like Azumarill, meaning we are going to be getting that resistance to fire, water, ice, fighting, bug, and I believe dark. Yeah, a resistance to dark, and we also get that immunity to fairy, but we are going to be weak to electric, grass, and poison, like I said. And we actually don't get that weakness to steel because of the fact that water resists steel and fairy is weak to it, so they kind of cancel each other out. Now we see Primarina's ability. We got Torrent, as all water starters do. When HP is below a third, the power of water-type moves is increased by 50%. Now, if that ability was on top of its hidden ability, that would be overpowered. Because Primarina's hidden ability is Liquid Voice, which turns all sound-based moves into water-type moves. So stuff like Round, I believe Sparkling Aria counts as a sound-based move. Sound-based move. Pair Song, Sing, it also gets access to Sing. Echoed Voice. What was that one? Round, it gets access to Round, so that becomes a water-type move. So all those sound-based moves are now getting that extra stab bonus, or becoming water-type moves if they're just status moves. And they're just getting that extra power from a Primarina. Now we see, looking at its move pool, we see Primarina's got a base 530, not too bad. We got 80 in the HP, 74 in the attack and defense, 126 in the special attack, 116 in the special defense, and 60 in the speed. So right away, we can see kind of some similarities with Pokemon like Gardevoir. That Gardevoir has a good special defense and special attack as well, so we can kind of see that Primarina is leaning more towards a special tanker than a special sweeper with its lowered speed. But you can make use of that lowered speed in some certain scenarios. We see the attack really gets dwarfed by the special attack, which is honestly fair, because Primarina's moveset lacks a lot to be desired when it comes to physical moves. We see with the 80 HP and the 116 in the special defense, we could use Primarina as our special tank. That if we're running up against something that's using a bunch of special moves, like a Charizard, then we say, okay, Primarina, we're going to be tanking all that, unless they have a Solar Beam, in which case, we're going to get less screwed. And then, hopping on over into Shreddown, we see the first Primarina set is actually a Choice Spec set. And some of you may notice up in the top right, yes, I did change my name for my alternate account to Genesis Dragonoid, because I forgot what the password was for my old accounts, and apparently I forgot to change I'm Blue 69 when I actually changed the passwords for all my stuff. So I have no clue what the password for that was, and I forget how to recover it. But anyway, I changed my name, so basically that's just why it says Genesis Dragonoid up there. That, and because I like Drago. But looking at the first set, we see it's actually a Choice Specs Liquid Voice set. So we see we got, of course, Choice Specs with Liquid Voice. Blech, can I say that again? Choice Specs with Liquid Voice. There we go. Thank you, Brain, for actually cooperating, and thank you, Tongue, for not getting tied. But we see we got that with Hyper Voice, Moonblast, Ice Beam, and Perish Song, with the maxed out special attack and speed with the Timid Nature, and the 4 EVs thrown into defense. So basically, we just got a sweeper set with this. Basically, we're getting the Hyper Voice and replacing Scald with that. You could run Scald if you still wanted to, get that kind of defensive cut on, that if something you're running up against is going to be hitting you defensively, you can put on Scald if you want to, or you can keep Hyper Voice and get the Liquid Voice boost. So basically, Hyper Voice now turning into a Water-type move, and since it's one of the better sound-based moves, it's going to be getting that high base power of 90, plus the stab from the Water typing, so we're actually going to be doing a good amount of damage with it. And then we got Moonblast there, just because Moonblast, Fairy-type move, good base power, going to be doing a lot of damage thanks to the stab. And then we got Ice Beam there, kind of just basic move on a water type that almost every water type has Ice Beam, except for the ones that are kind of meant for more, like, I'd say, taking hits and setting stuff up, or the stuff that tries to run pulse moves like Clawitzer. That's what it was. Thank you, Showdown. Oh my god. I can't believe I forgot that thing's name. Well, actually, I can believe I forgot that thing's name because its name is kind of off. You don't really remember it that much. I knew what it was, I just could not remember the name for the life of me. But basically, those kinds of Pokemon are like the only ones you aren't going to see an Ice Beam on. And then we just got Parasong here in case, Primarina is going to get taken out by something, but we're going to outspeed it. So we can be like, okay, Parasong, so either they have to stay in and die in like 2 or 3 turns, or we force them into a switch out so they're not going to lose their Pokemon. And basically, you got the maxed out special attack and you got the maxed out speed with the timid nature, so you're going to be dealing a fair amount of damage with that Choice Specs. That with the Choice Specs, you're going to be getting up to about the 500s, 520 range. And with that speed, you are going to be outspeeding stuff like Charizard. That Charizard, if it's base 100 and it has no speed investment, then you will actually have the chance to outspeed it. So something like Tailwind Charizard's set up. If people don't want to run Mega, then they can just set up with a Charizard like that, and then we'll be able to outspeed it with our Primarina, and we'll actually be able to take them out. Or if you see something like Ferrothorn, that Ferrothorn, it's got the slower speed, and it's going to be doing more to us, so what we can do is we can just use Primarina, go for Parasong, and then swap out, and then hopefully they'll swap out a Ferrothorn, and then we can kind of get that prediction off, and predict what they're going to swap out next, so that we can actually hit them hard next turn. And the next set is actually a Rest Primarina set. So with this one we got the Chesto Berry with Liquid Voice. Again, I just put on Liquid Voice just because it works for this set. We have Rest, Amnesia, Snore, and Moonblast with the maxed out HP and special defense with the Careful Nature? No, Calm Nature. Calm Nature. I always get Calm and Careful mixed up. But basically the idea behind this set is we got a Resto Chesto set. So the idea is we set up a couple of Amnesias. We basically just become an unkillable special defense tank. We go for a Rest. We get the immediate heal plus the Chesto Berry, so we're going to be getting that instant wake up. And then we just got Moonblast there as our Fairy-type move, plus our, I guess, Awake move is what I would call it, that when we're not using Rest and falling asleep, that we can just Moonblast them for damage. And then we have Snore. Now, since Snore is a sound-based move, we are actually getting the Water typing from Liquid Voice, meaning we are going to be getting boosted damage from the Snore thanks to Stab plus Liquid Voice. So it actually is going to be a very viable move with this set. You could also go, I'd say, Sleep Talk. You could go Rest, Sleep Talk, Amnesia, and Moonblast. And you could swap out Moonblast for something like Scald or Hyper Voice. Or you just do whatever you want with it. But either way, Rest, Amnesia, Snore, Moonblast works out really well. I've actually tried it a couple times. It does work out very nice. Again, the Sleep Talk does also work very nice. It actually works very well when I use it on a Type Null that I have. It works out very nice on Type Null. Now you see, we could also get a Reflect Light Screen Primarina. So basically this runs kind of like Alola Ninetales, that it's setting up the screens and then it's doing damage or it's switching out. So we got the leftovers with the Liquid Voice, the maxed out HP and special defense with the Calm Nature again. And then we got Reflect, Light Screen, Moonblast, and Hyper Voice. So if you don't know what Reflect and Light Screen do, they basically set up invisible barriers that will lower the damage your entire team receives from a certain kind of attack down by half. So say you get hit with a physical move after, I believe it's Reflect is the one for defense, then it's going to be cut in half, or with Light Screen, the special defense is what's going to be lowering it. And those two moves work out very well on stuff like Klefki. That Klefki makes use of those moves very well, and it's actually able to very usefully swap out into something that can use those screens to its advantage. And then again, we just got Moonblast and Hyper Voice there for that damage, plus the Liquid Voice, turning Hyper Voice into a Water-type move, so it just gets that stab, meaning we are just getting the powerful yet tanky Primarina. And then this last set is what I like to call the Siren set. So we got the leftovers with Liquid Voice again. I really like Liquid Voice on Primarina. It works so much better than Torrent. It's like Protean with Greninja, or Battle Bond with Greninja. They work out so much better than Torrent, because you don't really want your Greninja to be at low health, and it's not really going to get to low health without dying anyway. So we see we got Attract, Toxic, Substitute, and Hyper Voice with the leftovers, and the Liquid Voice ability, and the maxed out HP and Special Defense with the Calm Nature once again, and the 4 EVs thrown into the defense. So the idea behind this set is, like I said, we're basically becoming a Siren. So we got Attract to kind of make our opponent, I guess, immobile, because, well, immobile is the actual word that Attract uses, but we're basically immobilizing them with Attract so they can't hit us if they're the opposite gender, and they'll either have to switch out or stay in and hope that they just get that massive hit. And then we just got Toxic, that while they're trying to wait for the Attract to actually let them get a hit, we can just Toxic them and get them to lower their health. And then we got Substitute, that while they're attracted, we can either go for the Toxic or the Substitute, and set up some kind of wall that with the Toxic, we're slowly lowering their damage, and with the Substitute, we're actually giving ourselves a bit of protection for a few turns. And then we just got Hyper Voice for our damaging move. You could also run Scald. Scald is also a possibility. In fact, in some cases, I would say Scald would be better on this, and then you swap out Liquid Voice for Torrent, and then you could run it like that. But I kind of just chose Hyper Voice just because it's more powerful than Scald, and we get the Liquid Voice turning it into a Water-type move. And then we get the leftovers there just for that slow health recovery, that basically with this set, our opponent's not going to be hitting us as much because we're going to have about 15 different walls up. So we're basically just going to be able to get that health back, that after about 3 or 4 turns with the 8% heal from the leftovers, we are going to be getting our substitute damage completely recovered. So anyway, that is going to be it for how to use Primarina. Like I said, I did say that it was one of my least favorite things about Pokemon when Gen 7 was actually released, but I've actually kind of grown to it. I've actually kind of grown to like Primarina a bit more. Especially its shiny, because the shiny with the golden hair, that looks nice. That looks like Altaria in Mega form. That's all I'm going to say. That looks nice. But anyway, I'm going to leave this video here. Next week, I will actually be doing Incineroar, because when I started out with Decidueye last week, I planned to do all 3 of them in a row, since they all kind of got released at the same time, so that everyone, once they were getting their starters, they could actually know or have suggestions on how to actually beef them up with the hidden abilities. But anyway, after that, it'll basically just be back to doing whatever Pokemon I figure out, or whatever Pokemon you guys want to see, because I always like seeing what you guys ask for. I always like looking at what you guys ask for, because not only do I really like getting that kind of community interaction between creator and community, but looking at some of the Pokemon you guys request is very interesting, because seeing some of the Pokemon that you guys like, and also seeing some of the Pokemon in the way that they can be used, aside from the traditional methods, is actually very nice. Like, back when I did the Gigalith video, I didn't really know much about Gigalith, but then when I looked at it, I was like, okay, I can see this, I can work with this. And I always love doing that, because it's just like, okay, so they wanted me to do this. How am I going to make it seem like there's the most potential in this Pokemon there can be at all? And that's really the only reason I love doing those, is community interaction, and just because it's really amazing to see what you guys think of, and just to see what kind of Pokemon you guys like, and what they'll actually become in a competitive kind of situation. But anyway, for now I'm leaving this video here. I might do a battle on Friday. I don't know. I've got a new team in the working. I'll let you guys figure out the theme when it actually happens. But I might do a battle on Friday. I don't know. I want to see, because there's a thing that's been going on Showdown lately, where apparently Chrome has been bugging out, and it's been giving that disable GIF animation thing, or GIF, or however you want to pronounce it. But it's been giving that kind of disable animation thing because Chrome is, for some reason, outdated, which doesn't make sense, because I don't even have Chrome on this device. But anyway, I might try and do that without animations. It won't look as good, and we won't really get to see anything. But go away, low battery. But we might actually get a decent video, because it won't be bugging out and cutting out halfway through. But anyway, I'm leaving this video here. Again, next week, probably going to be Incineroar, and then after that, back to regulars. So, after Incineroar, if you guys have any suggestions, or if you guys have any suggestions now that you want to see after Incineroar, let me know down in the comments. And if you guys did like this video, you can slap the like button as always, and I'll see all you beautiful people in the next video.